Justin broke it.
No, we've got audio now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we got audio now? Do we really?
Well, I mean, we've had audio, but it was just a matter of adding it.
Bitch. Hello, everybody.
They
I'm
heard
Ed.
that.
This is Terrain Tuesday. I'm glad you're here. Oh, we're working on our trebuchet. Justin did a last-minute adjustment, of course. So we now have, show them the cool cam setup we've got. This is how we're going to be able to go this week, so that you can actually see more of the whole mess as it's happening on the vertical, as well as the look down. And I have John Overton here, and he's got his computer open, and so he's running it sort of like NASA as we're going along.
Yeah. Hey, everybody.
And Justin, well, what are you doing?
He's mixing he's changing the screens.
I'm the command center over here.
Oh, okay. There we go.
John's
There we go.
the scapegoat.
So anyway, to catch everybody back up, you can go back to that other screen real quick, and or I can show them on that. Never mind, we'll use it that way. Let me find all the pieces. We're building a trebuchet. I'm not going to repeg it. I guess we could, real quick.
Yeah, we don't have the video of the shooting of it or anything, right, Justin?
We don't have that?
We have it. I just haven't dragged it into this
okay.
collection
Put it
scenes.
So, and I'll just show, for those that are new or haven't seen it, we'll just go through it real quick, what we've done and where we're going. And we're almost at the very end here. We're going to start the coloring today.
Man,
and the last bit of button up.
Chat, what do you guys think about the new camera setup? I like the way that it looks here.
Yes, I do too. See, I can sit down here and wave hi.
But it actually
And
looks
I go
really
over
good
here
because
and
you can
wave
see
hi.
the whole trebuchet.
See, and I can hide behind the box, and I can pop out. So anyway, for those that are seeing it like that, it's a fully functional. We did shoot. We have a video. We launched some dice, and we did some chocolate kisses, which is what it was supposed to. Construction is all but finished. We've got some last-minute buttoning up to do. Got a few pieces here that we'll have to add that I created last time, a week or two ago, that we'll add. These are just simply something we'll do at the end and glue them on because they're going to be rather fragile. We have, if you haven't noticed, we sealed up the box. I'll show you what we're going to do on that. That's about it, short of I have to add a ladder here to the side, which is just part of the equation. At that point, we'll almost declare it. And then when I say button it up, is these side here where the axle sticks out, as you can see it, we'll actually seal these edges up here and on the ballast box. So, take it back apart now that you've seen it, and we get back to what we're doing. So I'll go to the ballast box first, what was done and what we did real quick. Oh, if you're going to giggle, you got to tell everybody.
People in chat, he says, now we can see whenever you get a text message on your phone because your phone's in the frame.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I forgot to turn it off, too. My brother loves to wait. He always likes to test that and send me a text. Ah, thank you. I beat him. So we sealed up the top of the box, mainly so that we can keep the stuff from not rattling around. And if you can hear, I don't know if y'all can hear it that close, you'll still hear a little rattling. So what to do to keep all of that stuff, because we really don't want it rattling around in there, it'll just cause damage. So I just take some white glue, and I'm just going to actually put a big blob of it in there, and it'll find what it needs to, and it sort of just drapes around it and just oozes all over it down in there, and it'll go. We've went ahead and capped it off. We got the rudimentary detailing on this piece. This piece here, I went ahead and this is, I wouldn't be able to show you this anyway because I went down and got a hold of a belt sander. But I'll see if I can get a reflection there for it. Yeah, okay. This is a, oh yeah, now he's sending his text. Too late, too late. What you've got going on here is this is that trough that the actual target or the ammunition ballast will pull through. So it's going to be extremely rough. It's dragging 300 and 400 pound rocks down it, things like that. It's going to be very worn. So I went down to a belt sander and on its curve, opened it up, got it to where it looks a little bit more splayed and stuff like that. And then went back in really just with a knife and carved along the edges and just added all of this irregularness to it, kind of a thing. This is obviously very rough. The outside is just sort of rough. So that finished that piece.
To make it look like it's been worn and used.
Worn and used, which is the effect we're going for. Now, on the actual piece itself, if you look down, as you can see on here, went back in, okay, and there were pen marks, and there's still a few here. I'll catch them, I'll show you that. But I cleaned it all up, and I gave it an overall sanding. And what I was really looking for, which we explained on that last episode, is any joints that actually had, I'll go from this side, any glue sticking out. I wanted to get rid of that glue. That glue will not absorb color. It'll absorb paint, but I just want to make sure I don't have anything weird that's going on. I also, to soften the whole piece, the visual side of it, is, and this one here hasn't been done yet. So you can see we got a really nice sharp edge here. Well, that really looks good, and yes, their quality, their workmanship, just to be able to, in the medieval times, was exemplary. We have plenty of pieces of art, all sorts of things to survive. But this was a tool of war. So they would have built it, and it would have been very proper, but at the same time, they would have been more focused with, let's just get this damn thing up and get out of here so we can go home.
Because it's built for siege.
Siege, yes.
Yeah.
So what I would do is come back and just on this corner, like that, as I'm going along, and you can see the curl building, and I'm taking that corner off, is all we're doing. And to the eye, it helps sort of soften and give the whole thing, and especially if you go back and make some sort of deeper areas and gouges, it gives it more of a scale, a softer feel to the eye, a softer texture, really. It doesn't look as much like a kit. Like you just, like when you get the laser cuts, MDF, it's really fun. But when you get through with it, it does, every edge is perfect and things like that.
Depending.
And so you just have to go through it on this same board, but on this side, as I just go along here and pull that up.
Make it look like the wood has been carried through.
It was, it was chopped. They got it square. They got it planed. But we're not worried about dressing this up as a house fence or something that's going to be ornate. So what I did is I spent some time on Saturday going over it, and I got all of that done and saved that one for you.
Rough hewn.
And a few of those. Yes, rough. Yes, exactly.
Evil Elvis. Thanks for the tier 1, Brad.
And you go along and you'll do this is all. So, and I did that all over the piece, okay? Now, the other thing that I did to help get everything sort of buttoned up is I'm using these. I like these. You can basically, any sandpaper works. I've just gotten lazy, and so I use these. So areas that were like this, where these pieces were 2 pieces glued together, I just went back in and sanded to get them to go like that. Same here on the top. Now, when we put this together, I'm going to show you the plastic trick we're going to be using today, and kind of a thing. And really what's going to happen is I'm going to show you all these techniques today and sort of go through everything where you can go, and then this weekend I'll sneak back up here and execute a lot of it and show you and save some more to show you. But I really, on the next episode, really want to have it pretty much done, and we'll go to the last part. We're going with it as a red with an evil twist to it, I think, was what we talked about early on.
Evil Warlord.
Evil Warlord, and that kind of a theme. So I'll play with it, but today we'll go through and do just look at all these various aspects. So if you can see this right here, that line right there, that was from a pin mark. So what you want to do is just literally, what I'm going to do to get it off, because it won't sand off, it was too deep, is just go back in with your knife and cut a chunk of it out. And it's back to that rough hewn kind of look, but it gets rid of the pin marks and anything else. You can also do that with the glue, and if you see any glue that goes up. Now, I will go back before we get real heavy into it, if I can find it. Here it is, a medium stick, which is this color here. Really, because when you get this balsa, you're going to end up with these cross-cut pieces, and they'll have a rough surface. And over here, this one's really nice. It was a ripped piece. So I'll just go back in and rub these softer, before we get down to it. Now, the nice thing is that, as what I was talking with John before we got into this today, is this is a piece that was constructed. And when it was constructed, it would have looked just like this. All natural wood, ready to go. As they're building it, they're cutting it, or they brought the pieces, this, that, and the other. They would have constructed this on the battlefield. At the same time, they would have sealed it up. We had that discussion in a prior episode. That's the painting or pitch, if you painted it all in black pitch and things like that. And then the last thing is then it would have been used. And the more it's used, the grimier it's going to get. So all of this area here where the humans are walking around, this lower part, from about that much down all the way around, is going to get really grimy. People are stepping on it with muddy feet. Any number of things. It's just going to get nasty.
When it gets fired, it kind of
it's going to rattle and shake. Yeah, even though it'll be chained down, we'll have marks on the chains, things like that. So as we get higher on the piece, you're going to see where the paint's going to fade from rain or whatever the elements and stuff like that. But we're going to get a less dirtier. And again, I talked about this before. When I'm building stuff like this, what I try and do is make it look natural to the eye, because this is what the eye is expecting, because this is what the eye sees. So if you walk out, like if you go out and look at your fence or a building, everybody's seen that just from rain. You'll see if they've built a white stucco wall, that the bottom half, if this is that stucco wall sitting there, down here and here's the ground level, this area here is always dirty. And it's just all that is just if the water just splashing up. It just the natural. That's you haven't even added. We're dragging, we're working around it, and all this other stuff. But up here at the top of that same wall, it's going to just be sun faded and sort of weathered. And because that's what I'm used to seeing in the real world, when I see it here, it'll be a lot more comfortable. Whereas I call it the difference between reality and a golf course terrain. Reality terrain is if you ever get in a tower and you look down on all the grass down below, it looks really bad. Man, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just going to be splotchy and you can see yellow and all this kind of stuff. And then when you get down from your tower ride and you walk back out there, now that you're at eye level, it's all very green. It has that golf course look. And so when you're building terrain or terrain tables and stuff, I always tried to stay away from that golf course look and go for the what my eyes really going to expect to see from that downward looking view. And it seemed to excite people. I mean, it made people appreciate more of what they were looking at. So,
that's a good point. Chris Ayer says, I would never really build this on his own, and he was just curious if we were going to be in the future working on other terrain and basing. And like that.
In fact, right after this, we're supposed to do shift gears. I'm going to use some of the baseball large bases, and then build some ice terrain for the part of a cave, part of the hilly. Well, that snow things that Josh needs for his show. Get those done, and then we can show you crags. I also want to get into. After this real quick, as we're moving to the episodes, nothing as epic as this where we waste 5, 6, 8 episodes. The is basing or building bases for your figure if you're going to display your figure in a competition. What works, what doesn't work, the story, how to make it happen, and how to pull it together. And I would like to do a lot of, there's at least 3 or 4 right off the bat. You know, you want them inside of a nice Victorian room. That's a certain build style and what you're going to do. You want a craggy cave entrance. You know, things like that. There is sort of a way to get it, and we'll go. But that'll be the kind of things as we go, is we'll just keep trying all things terrain.
That's in the future, guys.
We'll be doing, I want to do sand tables. That's something I'd talked with Justin about. Well, that would involve a remote, because we'd have to go somewhere else to do it. But we would do that, and basically overall large terrain tables. I think that would be something fun.
It'd be good for the store, the new store and everything.
So now another piece that's you'll see, I'll come back, is this little thing. This is plastistruck. And so what I did is I get a sheet of it, and this is some of the very thinnest stuff that you would use, and it works well for this purpose. And so what I will do is cut these L shapes, because what we're doing is banding this iron together in some different kind of weird geometric shapes. And that was, again, to make the whole thing support itself and when they're making their construction. So what I'll do these, and it's already pre-bent because I have a crease here in this particular corner. So I'll hold it up to the camera so we can see what we're talking about. Is this area here. Now it's a little, in my screen is glaring, so there I got it. So you can sort of see how it fits in like that, okay? Then what I'll do, before I actually I could glue it on and go from there, is I will go ahead and mark with a pen where I'm going to put these pins that'll push through it. So in doing that, or at least getting a good understanding of it, do we have a pin? Everything else but that on the table.
Your pin's
right there.
right
We'll find Jimmy Hoffa here in a second.
In this case?
No. Okay, yeah, I can those pins. That's talking about a draw pin. But either way, we'll start off with the front like this. So that's fine. We'll just use the single. So what I will generally do now, in this particular case here, it's sort of a compound turn. And over here, it's not as much as a compound turn. So I could adjust this, or I could just work with it, but I'm going to show you what I do to make it work. And when I say the compound is at this point, it looks like a nice even angle that goes up here and catches that angle to go up. And in reality, if you look at it, there's a minor step there. If you want to be fast, just cut the step off. Add a little bit off there. No one's going to know from that sense. But I wanted to show you all just how to form this kind of stuff. So I've put the first bend in, and then I'm just going to, again, eyeball it, and that's about, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch. And I'm going to come in and use the back side, the non-cutting side of my blade here, and I'm going to bend another, because it's going to go like this, and it needs to be a bend from that direction. So there's my center, and I'm going to come back in at about 1/16, and I'm just going to pin it to the table there. And then I'm going to come back on this side and lift it up. Almost like if you were a bench bending metal with I forgot what they call it, the bench, anyway. So now, as you can see, I've got that little bit of it, looks like a chair in a way. Okay, but now when I put it on here, it's going to follow that little contour really well. Okay, and so then what I'll do with these, and I'm showing you how to do this, and then later on, when we come back, I would have spent all of the time to cover as many of these as we want to on there. Now, this stuff, we're going to tack it on with wood glue, but it won't absorb any of the glue because it's plastic. So we're really just using it as a tack. If it was 2 pieces of wood, obviously it would make quite a bond and we wouldn't have to worry about it. So, I don't have let me find a piece of scrap here.
Are you going to pin this to it? Or?
Yes, we're going to pin it as well. But we got to sort of use this to hold it in place. And when you're doing stuff like this, especially with this plastic, the thinner's the better. It doesn't really like a big, thick, gloppy amount of glue on it.
It'll just slide all over the place.
Yeah, and just be sort of non-cooperative. I don't know where to put this. Too bad Justin's not close. Let's stick it in the back of his head.
You put it here.
There we go.
That's great. Thank you.
So, and then I'm just going to drop it into place. And stick it down on in there and hit my 2 creases. And so right now, as you can see, it's pretty much holding its own. It's there. Has a little bit of an overlap, which is fine. Now, all this is going to end up being is just when we paint this, this will be painted solid black, and then we will add rust effects to it, all the way up to brighter rust. And so from the pins dripping down the edges where they've been worn off and then allowed to rust and things like that, that's just part of the weathering. So, but we have to get them on there so that they make a definition and they go.
This is kind of like a metal plate that is used to kind of hold it all
exactly,
together.
to go, that they would have used to make it go. So in this case, we'll just drop 1 pin in just so we can get going. And I'll drop it in right there.
Also, this is really important. I meant to say this at the beginning of the stream.
Uh-huh.
If anyone has any issue with the stream chopping really bad, being that we're doing this double camera setup, it's requiring more data bandwidth, which could lead to both dropped frames and choppiness. So if it gets really bad, say something to us.
You just said it was only going to be cool. You didn't say it would have any downside.
It's an important thing to adjust for. So.
Justin, I have it pulled up on my laptop right now, and it's been fine on my end. But
golden, because I have been dropping frames, but I think because I'm not pushing stuff out at 60 frames, I've given myself headspace.
And for those that didn't catch it, what we did there, whenever you're cutting these straight pins off, the people have watched the show. It just doesn't want to stick.
For the 6
when I
people
did the
that
cut
watched.
like that and I cut it off, I shot it into this piece of wood so that it would do that, and then thereby I can control it. Otherwise, it would have hit the glass, bounced, put John's eye out.
Yeah.
You know,
It
I'm
would have
really
been
thinking
ugly.
of a third camera for just underneath the desk.
Why?
Why?
Then you'd see I don't have any pants on.
No, well, yes, you would see that, but you'd see all of the wood shavings and the pins that didn't end up in the wood.
It's when we start getting cats and stuff on the show. We can
Yeah.
have a cat cam.
Yeah, really.
A lot of
So-
people are talking in chat about how they love the new camera setup. So
Yeah, I like it. It's going to be
very good.
It's a step up. It said we're all new to this, so he's still.
Well, we used to
Still
do this back in the
explore.
day. It's just bandwidth issues have been the problem. So
Speaking of cool terrain, I actually saw something earlier today that I thought was really cool. Someone was making a treasure chest that had overflowing gold and stuff in it. And what they did was they made a paste with glue and gold glitter. And the gold glitter looks like little coins.
The coins.
And so the big thick paste of it, you could just kind of paint it on stuff and things. It looked like treasure just
Oh
overflowing.
wow, that sounds.
apparently,
That would be
John,
a good. The only thing I've done stuff. The only downside to that might be is as you get into it a little bit more, would be the. It's not round unless you can find a round glitter. That was what I had. I used.
Oh, yeah.
I would use the glitter as a base and then put coins on top of it or something. You know, but yeah, it would be. It's a good thing. So now, it didn't take that long. As you can see, it's here. Get it out here. Now, because of what it is, we're not just going to leave one rivet. I would come back and add a second rivet here, possibly a third, and then the same here. It is designed, or even spread 2 out and put one on here and here to make a triangle, because it was there for strength. It was, and these would be at like this kind of a location up here, anywhere you're going to find it. Definitely down here in this main part, you'd find an L shape there and here, and then we would just go through and add those. And as you saw, it doesn't take much at all. And also too, I can show, I mean, if you don't like it, in this one here, I'm not really excited about because I made it because I'm just, again, I didn't measure. I made it a tad too wide here for this. I would have liked a thinner one. And then the beauty of this is because the plastic didn't want to stick, that it'll come right back off. Let's see here. Can you see me? Oh, that's what I'm doing. So really, you just do that and push it, and it'll come right back off. And then I'll just pull the other little plate out, or the other pin out that I did. And so, in turn, and I mangled it up and sort of tore it, so I would make another one, but you saw how quick it is just to cut it, to bend it, to get it to fit it to that location. But I would use one that's probably a good 1/16 of an inch thinner, because when I was taking these corners off here that I was showing you at the early part, when I put this on, it actually stuck out past them. So it looked a little awkward and not as finished as it should. Now, so we've done that. We've talked about that. That's really on the side. Now, the other part here is I wanted to start showing y'all where we're going with this whole painting thing. Oh, that's good. Well, let's get it over here. Okay, now we can see that, but we have a shadow right there. So there we go. Now, as this goes, now what this is what I guess the end effect is that I'm going to look for is that raggedy fence look that you're going to find at your neighbors in your neighborhood. Every neighborhood's got the guy that's got the crappy fence, and that's what we're looking for. It's gray, it's beat up and things like that. Well, we've pre-aged a lot of the wood, so we're not worried about the beat up part. But how do we get the color? Well, if you take paint straight up and water it down, we end up with the color right here. But even when I went to just pure water and move that over, you could see it didn't lighten out. It didn't model very well. It just didn't look good for me. So what I did is I took the same paint and I applied it. Here's the color of the powder here, and it's very dark on that screen, so we're hoping it'll show up. But by using the gray paint, you can see here, well, not that much. It lightened out the powder. How's this looking? Can we get? Yeah. There we go. Better. That'll help.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can see here where it lightened it out, and what it's giving is more of a mottled texture to the paint. We don't want it as uniform, but that's also defined by this here, which is that pastel powder that we used. And I'm going to explain this to you, and then I'm going to show you what I'm doing. But it's the powdered pastel that I'm rubbing into the wood where I'm going. So as we go along here, now this is probably too red, I would think. I mean, these are just the three colors I grabbed out to play with to show you how it would work. So this is the black powder here, and then this is this, I don't know, muddy brownish looking kind of aged wood. This is definitely a closer color. This looks like it's still bark color. Yeah. So anyway, but what we're looking for is take this powder, and when I add the material to it, and I'll start that here in a second, we're looking for it to make that weird texture that from a distance it all looks like this color, okay, because that's a gray fence. But when you get up close to it, you realize, well, hell, there's still some of those panels that are still carrying the natural wood color. There's some of them that are carrying a darker. There's pieces missing.
There's moss and
moss and all that. That's sort of what we're trying to go.
Stuff growing
because of these could be up and set up for a long period of time, and especially if it was a winter time, etc., rain, all of this. Usually you campaign in the spring. Spring brings the rain. All of these kind of things they're all just part of this. And
black powder scoring from flaming payloads.
You could do that. That would easily be we could easily use in this color here.
Yeah, the black.
So what I'm going to show you on this side, we'll start over here. So now that we understand what we're at least trying to get, and this is to me a lot of the fun. I wish there was a way to just sit down and say, oh, well, you add 2 parts of X or Y or do whatever you want to do and get there. And it's just not that. You just sort of have to play with it and find a good spot for it. So usually for this, I'll go with a stiffer brush. This is just, and I'm using old brushes. On these powders, you only want to use old crappy brushes. You never want to use a nice brush. It doesn't destroy the brush, but it definitely doesn't afterwards, it doesn't want to play well with painting in that sense. So like this, I'm just going to take some of the powder out, and we'll use the same colors. And as I put it on here, it's actually staining it, and really all I'm doing is just taking this powder and moving it around. And then but in doing so, we're getting areas that are lighter and darker. And this powder is also a great way. I use it a lot in painting figures. It's a good way to represent a dull, that dirt and stuff that you might find down by the shoes, on the spats, or in the pants, whatever they're wearing, that kind of thing. And as you can see, I'll get it back up here.
It looks like it's staining.
It's staining it, but this is actually dry. It's just all powder. I'll blow it off so there's no excess on it, and that's what it looks like. So then I can actually go back in and say, well, that's too, I like that contrast because it's light and it's dark and all those things. Okay. And then again, part of the process is I'm not going to clean the brush. There's not really a way to clean these brushes after you put powder on them. You can, I've done it, but that's why I thought, why not just use crappy brushes and throw them away? Or go buy cheap brushes.
At the end of their painting life.
Yeah, at the end of their painting. But now what you are wanting, though, is something that's stiff. And that's what the old paint brushes end up becoming, this kind, and sort of frayed. So this is that other brown. This is that center brown we had. And as you can see there, it's just a powder. So as I'm going to tap my finger, it's coming all over the place. But we're going to do the same thing on this chunk here. And I'm just going to turn around and keep moving that powder in and working it. And you just play with it, because like even then, like even though I'm trying to keep it separated, you never know what you're going to discover. And
Hey, Ed.
yes, sir.
Chris wants to know who makes the powder that you...
This is, I get it from Micromark. As much as I buy from them, I should probably get some sort of endorsement. But anyway, this is the stuff it is right there.
Other way around. There you go.
There we go. Doc O'Brien's Weathering. It used to be from Doc O'Brien years ago. And somewhere down the line, Micromark just is distributing it. I'm sure they caused the manufacture of it and everything else. Used to have a little set of instructions in there. I do not believe they put that in there anymore. Oh, no, they do. Right
Chris
here.
also asks if it will rub off if you handle the piece later.
On this surface, no, but on a figure, yes. You do want to, there we go. I'll let everybody a second chance here. We'll get it closer so you can see the number.
Weathering powders. 81632.
Okay. And it comes with the 12, and it goes from there. Now, in a pinch, because I'll be traveling and all of a sudden go, well, I didn't bring any powder or anything, I didn't do anything, you can also just go to the local art store and buy some soft pastel pencils. And then I'll take a file like this, a rough file, and I just sit here and go with the pencil and get my powder and go from there, you know. And so you know, it's not a magic bullet, but it is just another nice tool in your tool chest. You just never know. So I'll go on real heavy down here, but this is a nice lighter brown, so it doesn't want to. And then back to the rubbing, it's not going to rub on the wood. It's not going to rub off because it's actually part of that. But now if I put it on some Plastistruck, where was that piece we were cutting on? Oh, there we go. That'll work.
That's our test piece.
Yeah. So if I come down here, it'll absorb my coloring, but it's going to be a little bit less forgiving. It's not going to want to, you'll have to really work the powder to get it to do what you want it to do on the piece.
It looks like there's always going to be some stuff left over.
Oh yeah, there's always this powder. So you can knock it off. And as you can see, now you get this really, I did a whole model. It's down in a gallery. It's a tank down there that had that zombie tank that was sort of burned out.
Yeah.
The whole tank was painted with this stuff or colored with this stuff. I wouldn't call it paint because it's not liquid.
Yeah.
But I just did all the surface and just like that because you can mix these and play with them. And that was just sort of an experiment. But now that it's on there, I can just take my finger and see, I can start rubbing it, rub it right off.
By the way, Ed,
Yes,
that explains the brown spot I have on my carpet.
Yeah.
Thank you for throwing that on
Yeah.
there. I appreciate that.
Vacuum it up.
Yeah. Well, if there was a vacuum with 100 feet, maybe I'd use it. But
Glenn says, I used to shave down pieces of chalk to get weathering powders back in the day.
yeah, that was a chalk would work as well. And you know, I just started the pastels, what made sense, but the chalk. Generally, if I was looking for chalk, all I ever would have been. I'll show them one other thing. Neon colored sidewalk chalk or something, and that didn't really have much to do to that. Now, one of the things that'll happen though is, I'll show you this. With this stuff here is that when you're putting it on plastic, you can flick it with some water and get some different, when you blow it off, it'll have to dry up a little bit, but get some, there we go in the center. And we'll set this aside, and when it wants to evaporate and dry up, I'll show you what it looks like. It really has a neat look to it, especially if you're building stuff that is a tank or something, anything metallic. You have a lot more control. But if you don't want this to happen where you can rub it off with your finger, obviously use dull coat. And to me, the whole world is could be held together with Tester's dull coat. I don't know really what the formula is. It's an evaporative, not a coating. I mean a paint, and it's just magical. I know in Hollywood when I was out there, on all of their models that they're going to put under a light, like if they're going to film a submarine that's underwater moving through the water, okay, that'll take them 20 hours in front of the camera under an intense light. And it's moving through a room of fog is what they've done, is filled it up with a fog. And then have a light above shining down. It gives you and when you go look at it on film, it looks like they're underwater and all that. Well, because that light is so intense up close where the camera is and everything, if there's a fingerprint on that model, when they were setting it up on the tractor or any of this kind of junk, over time, those spots will glow because of the grease from the finger being on that surface. And so what they end up doing is, I mean, they live and breathe, it's dull coat. So after it's all up there, it's a guy's job to go back and make sure all of those areas were dull coated because they don't want to shoot this whole sequence and come back and have little hot spots all over the place. So anyway, where were we on that board? It's around
underneath
here somewhere. Oh, there it is. So anyway,
We were busy getting the double cam set up today. We didn't actually discuss what we wanted to give away if we had
yeah, we
a
didn't.
sub-goal.
I was thinking about that.
So
Well, I'll leave
which
that
one?
to you and John. Y'all figure something cool out.
Okay.
What do you want to give away, John?
I have some cool things that I can give away that are on my desk.
That sounds like somebody that's vamping, trying to fill. It's
Exactly.
really cool. It's on my desk, though, and I'm not at my desk.
The problem is I don't have it to show it.
How about this? They're mystery gifts. Let's go with that. We've never done that before.
Ooh, a mystery
Let's
gift.
go mystery gift, and it's what John is talking about.
Okay.
All right. So right now we just hit 1, so I'm going to activate the giveaway.
Okay.
Every every 5 subs, we get a mystery gift provided
By John.
Whatever
I'll
is
make
on
sure
John's
it's a
desk.
good. I'll make sure it's a good mystery gift, though. Okay.
Okay.
There won't be any chewed bubble gum. Not that that's a bad gift, I guess. At least you know it didn't have any poison in it.
Also, for anybody that's in chat that doesn't know, we have a Discord, and we actually have a toolbox section in the Discord, and it's where people are discussing all kinds of terrain and different techniques and things like that. If you're ever curious on there, if you want to get over on the Discord, it's in that section. So, a lot of cool stuff going on over there. I think we're about to hit 700 people, and at any given time, there's always like 180 people on. So.
Oh wow!
And there's a bunch of different sections. Jacob Jansen with the tier 3.
Man, that is that's
wow.
actually worth 5 all in one.
All in one.
It is.
They'll be Jacob. We'll make sure they're
Thanks,
good.
Jacob. Jacob, you would like to know that I'm actually making your monk right now.
Yeah, mold. You were talking about that beforehand.
I made the molds, and they're being cast up right now. I'll send you a picture.
So, what I did here is
Lookadeo, the Discord. I can put it right here in chat. There you go.
so just to sort of show what we did. Here's that red brown, obviously, or the 3 colors we were starting with, and then there at the very end, I just took the red brown straight across, obviously. And as you can see, we end up with a little bit more that the 2 matching together, you know. And again, you can rub them if you want to, whatever it is till you get. And when you get it the way you want, then you hit it with the dull coat, and then we could take it straight over. Now for this part here, where I went straight over, that to me that just looks worthless. I can't figure out anything I would do with that, you know, from that end. But now what we're going to do is go in with some water, and I had a brush I was using earlier. That one's not it. This'll, no. I should probably throw some of these away someday. All right. Now, before we've added any pigment to this, whether it be, I've got different ones over here to play with, I'm just going to show you if we just use regular water. So, over here, by just taking just the brush and all I've done with water, is I'm going to go in and start playing with it and get it to see what I want it to do, if I can get it to do anything. And so by dropping on big splotches, remember that was that sort of open area, and I'm ending up with just all sorts of weird patterns. That mottled look, I don't know how to, man, I just don't know how to have a word for it.
Yeah, Glenn in chat was talking about you could take the wet brush and kind of drag it across, and it makes really good rust effects.
Yes,
on different colors. Of
different,
pigments
yeah,
and, things like that.
I mean, just take it to give an idea. If we just went straight across with it, like that, and that was just me putting this on. You know, it's going to darken up at first, and it's going to expand out. But what I don't want to do is just change its color. I want to go back in and work it so that I can get texture is the word I like to use.
It looks like
into
it pulls the powder together and kind of clumps it.
Yeah,
in
it's
certain
because you're
sections.
basically making mud. You're playing with dirt here, kind of from that aspect. But because I can go in and give it some texture, that's what I'm wanting to do. Okay, and then on this side, we'll go back over here, and same thing. I'm just, again, using water to the idea. And over here, I'm getting, because it's a lighter color, I'm automatically getting a better contrast in texture with my look. And then when it dries, it'll again look different. Then, well, let me do this one.
Dave just suggested that we're giving away your kidney stone, by the way.
Shit, they can have it. Man, wouldn't wish that on anybody. Yeah, they pulled out, and I love to do this, okay? The stent was actually about 12 inches, 14 inches long, I don't know. But every time I tell the story, it's like the fish. It's now getting this long, this long, this. Before I get through, it's going to be like 5 feet long stent that they had to pull out. So anyway, it's got, and you let it dry and go. But you can already see what we're working with and how it's messing with it. And that's what we're wanting, is because when the person looks up close, from a distance, this is just going to look like a big brown-gray fence. But when they get up close, it's that texture that will allow them to go, oh, you know, and sort of get excited. And so then you mix all of this as you're going along. What we won't do is paint this whole thing with powder of one brine. What we'll do, as an example, will to be, because of these areas here that like are around here, and this is where it's going to be more grime, you know, oriented, for lack of a better term, is I will just literally go in and put this like that. And then bring it up the piece, because it's going to be where that's going to bounce up and no one can walk on it and wear it off. You know, they might cut through here, walk through here, there, through these triangles. So there in the center, I might want to wear them out a little bit. But it's just like an old house, it's just going to be grimy there. So I'll go along and hit all of these on all the sides of these corners, here, all of these joints. And then coming out of that, I would probably use this, or I will use the dirty, not this one, that's that red one. The red one would actually be used more for an accent than anything. But then as I pull out from that black area, then I get more into the center. Now I can add this more of brown to it, kind of an idea, you see. So that'll be what we'll end up doing, is using all these different colors of this stuff. And in that particular kit, the one I'm using, these are the three that sort of fit your earth tones, but I guess we're going to pimp Doc here. You get a desert sand color, which is really, it's a nice lightish yellow. You'll obviously get white. I've never really had much of a use for highlight white. Not that it can't work, and you play with it, it just never struck me. You get your greens, this helps for your mold and stuff like that. That one looks like a good one. You get into your rust, the darker rust, and then you need a bright rust. They call them rusty red and rusty brown, those two colors. Actually, there would be one a little lighter I would use, but we can pick that up with a paint. They throw a muddy red in there, which looks a lot like silted river bottom. You have the yellow gritty. Now, I've used a lot of this yellow gritty. This gives a really nice effect of just having been worn, a tool that's worn. You might have some chips on it and stuff like that, but even depending on the color that's there, it doesn't really matter. That gritty yellow always works.
Ooh, that's a bright blue.
Real bright blue, and then you get a middle green.
Hey, I bet you the green is used a lot.
So that's what it comes with, and then there's a little instruction guide in there, and I'd love to tell you what it says, but I don't know if I've ever read it. I think I probably read it the very first time. But anyway, that's where I get this stuff. And so that's how it'll apply onto the actual, and it looks dark in here. I wish we could get it. There we go. Yeah. You can see more where it's going to go. And then let's go back to our, as this is starting to dry,
It's like a
there
slide.
we go. You can see what we're seeing here in these different areas. And where this had a very uniform, and I guess what we're looking for, the best example is, right here we had a very uniform coloration of that brown. Add this water to it, now it goes light, dark, and all the stuff we're looking for. So I've harped on that enough. Now let's move on to, I have a gray liner here. And again, this is part of the experimentation process. I think it's fun. I have a brown wash. I picked these up downstairs. So I have a gray liner and a brown wash. Then I have brown liner and a brown wash. And then I picked these up. These hadn't even been labeled yet. So just a generic brown, 2014, a black primer. So I'm just looking for, and again, I'll know when I find it. That's part of why we do the test. The clear red, I would like to play with. I think it's going to end up making it way too bright, but I just like clear red. It's fun to play with. And then the black.
The clears have been very popular recently.
You can do so much with them. It's just incredible.
A lot of people like them on the translucent models that we sell.
Yeah, that's a good. I actually will add it to the colors, and you play with it. I'll add it to a blue, depending on the shade of blue, to get a really sort of bright, weird purple out of it. You can. It's again, you're only limited by your imagination.
Yeah.
So what we'll do this time is we'll sort of start off with this is just Stormy Gray 9088. You're not going to need much because again, it's a wash effect. And what we're going to do, you can clean your brush if you want to. It's optional. Okay. And if you get like this, you can see here I'm adding water to it, and this is on paper. And part of why I like doing this particular part on paper is I can go over here and I can start to see instantly how it's going to absorb and dry. And that helps me. Whereas on plastic or in a wet palette, it would stay that way. And since we're not really worried about trying to pull colors and do a really nice end result, this is a nice way to...
it's a quick way.
Quick way. So now I want a gray, but I'm really going to want to start off with, I found that in dealing with this stuff, it's easier to darken than it is to lighten. So we'll go over here where you can see I've added a lot of water to it now. And we'll go to this end that hadn't had a whole lot done to it. And then what I'm going to do is be moving more along the lines of streaks and then coming back over areas. It'll pick up the stuff as you go over it. More times you go over it, the more it'll go. And just add more water. And as it's getting thinner, that's sort of what we're looking for, is all of the weirdness, huh?
Go up a little bit.
Sorry.
There you go.
And so this is pure water now that I've got some gray on there. And I'm just coming around with it. And if I need some more gray, I've got it there. And we'll just drop it there. And that would just drop like a big color. I wish you could see it. Just a color blast of the watered down gray. Kind of a thing. Kind of a thing. That's not even a phrase.
Kind of a thing.
Kind of a thing.
You've been saying it for years, so it's a phrase now.
It's a phrase now.
That's how it works.
It's a nice way of saying I've run out of words. So now, let's see if we can get it to...
How long does it take to dry normally?
Oh, just a few minutes. You can see now, I mean, everything that we've already done to it is dried on there. And it's really, that's the beauty, is absorbing. Now, here's one of the tricks. If you'll notice, this is an issue. The board is actually curving. And it's curving because this top area here is expanding from all this water that we've added to it. So if this was actually going to be a structural surface that we were going to, like the side of a house or something, then we would have gone ahead and placed some sort of a rib structure here
to help hold it.
You can also wait till this side dries and just apply to that side. But it has a general consistency to turn around and just do what it's going to do. Let's see if we can get from there. Wait for it to dry. This is where a 100-watt light bulb comes into effect. Now while that's drying, we'll go back over and we'll look at this. And this is that water that we threw on there. And this made for a good set of spatters or some, I don't know, it's again texture to the surface.
Natural.
It looks natural, it's just a texture. This could work on a shield, this could work on a tank, this could work on the side of a building, a dumpster,
splatter.
Anything. Yeah, you could easily do this with the blood splatters. Now blood spatters, Jeremy showed me a cool trick to that.
Is it use real blood?
But that is an option, and I've inevitably tried that a few times just because I get carried away with the cutter. But let's see if I can find a brush that'll do it real quick.
It probably involves some kind of flicking.
It is. It's a flick, but you need a right kind of a brush to. That one should work. So you get your.
Ooh, clear.
A red.
Blood for the blood god.
Yeah. Get some sort of a red, unless, of course, this is going to be sold to the general public, in which case your blood has to be green. So, anyway, it hadn't been a while since I've done it. So you get a bunch of it on the end of your brush here, and then just take your finger and flick it. And
Oh, wow. Yeah.
and you can see, well, it's really light there. If I get some more to it. There we go.
Ooh.
And so what you get now, let me get it up here where you can see it,
Yeah.
is that's a really good, behind the person on the wall, splat, anything you want to do. And obviously the more you want to flick it and the more you want to do it, the more red or more blood you'll get out of it. Kind
It looks good.
So
I've seen some people doing it as well.
it's a really neat effect. And then also too, another effect with that is like we have a piece in the gallery he painted for us that she's standing over this dragon's head. She's just cut it off. And the sword is right above the head and it's dripping blood. And he showed me the blood drip technique, and that is to go in and on your bottle, that dried blood or not the dried blood, the dried paint that wants to get inside your cap and build up gunky.
Yeah.
He just takes a piece of that and pulls it off, and he'll pull until he gets a little bit of a string, and then he tacks it to the end of the sword and then adds some more red to it. And that's what hangs down, and it catches the bead of blood at the end. And man, I guess that's how come you get the big bucks, is you figure all that kind of stuff out. Beyond my pay grade. So let's go back to this. This is dry now. Dry enough for us to look at. So as you can see where we're going with this, this effect here, this will be a lot of what we're going to look at, and I'll even add more gray to it because it's hard. I wish we could get it up to, as you can see the gray starting to come through. I've got this really bad monitor, so if I can see it on this, you should be able to see it on yours. And that is more or less the effect we're going to go for along these lines here. And then from that, you can, as I said, I can go back and add more gray. I can do whatever I want to do, but the beauty of it is all of this texture that we've added, color texture to it, to where this could actually be a big steel plate for all intents and purposes, the way it's done there, sitting in a junkyard or something. And that's part of what we're going to want when we do this whole thing. And that's, again, to get it up to, again, a show level, or that you want your terrain to look good.
Yeah.
I mean, this is obvious. If I was this terrain for a battle, we're only going to run time, I think I've sort of been an overkill anyway.
Yeah.
It would have never fired to begin with. How much time do we have left?
A
few minutes.
It's
We're at-
52.
We're at 352, so yes.
Okay, do you have a rubber band somewhere? Can you find me one?
Oh, I've got a rubber band.
Okay. You're
Guess what I'm not doing is tossing it.
tossing it, okay. Well, if you shoot it and I can't get it, you're screwed. There we go.
Hey, the light you can't see.
Oh, that's
Oh,
what I was about to say.
There goes your thing. Oh, I got it.
I was like, oh, he intentionally watched it pass it, but no, not. He was blinded by the light.
Yes. All right, we'll have some quick fun here, if we can do this. We'll call this a special bonus round.
Hey, you tuck that transmitter in your pocket, sir.
Yeah.
Or off to the
Yeah.
side.
Okay, so,
Almost professionals.
almost.
Hey, Great to Table Studios. It is a trebuchet. It's what we're working on. It's pretty much, it's functional. It shoots.
Did
Now
you find
we're-
that video of it shooting?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just hadn't put it up yet because you guys.
Well, why don't you put it up real quick while I dig some junk
Yeah.
out?
We're finishing up the last little bits and pieces of it, and then I believe we're going to start weathering it and painting it a little bit.
Yeah.
Get it all ready. I can't remember which video you have, Justin.
Yeah, we had two. Remember, one of them wasn't what we wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember which the good one was. Because you gave me the one that's actually in slow mo that works, correct?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
What is this for that we're cutting up here?
I'll show you in a second.
Okay.
I'm going to see if I can get as far before I commit.
That's everybody's goal.
Okay, now when I'm making boards, this is another little trick because I like this cutter. Okay, so I've got, this is approximately the length that I'm going to deal with. I don't need a whole lot of length
There you go.
to it. So what I'll do is stack on it, but rather than butt up against this here, this edge, I'll actually overlap it a little bit and cut them both at the same time. And so I end up with that particular piece.
That exact.
And we'll make those our sides. And I need a width bar.
Oh my. Oh lordy.
Yeah, I know. If I can pull this, because I just thought of this. I should have prepared and had it all done beforehand. But life,
That's not your MO.
that's not my MO.
You got to state a brand. What is today? Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. It feels like everything is going so fast this week.
All right,
Yeah.
I got it here.
All right, show that real quick.
Needs a strong word.
Oh, let's see where we're sideways. Which one is this? Oh, yeah, this is the one that was on Instagram. There it goes. Yeah,
There we go.
Needs a strong word.
Bonk.
there it goes. Yeah.
We got whoosh.
Now, we actually, while that's empty there for a payload, we
Needs a
actually
strong
have
word.
some video of it.
I have a clip on. If you go to our clips on our Twitch channel, there'll be one that's titled "It Fires."
Yeah, but so can we post that clip in chat?
I think so. Let me actually go find it. It's called "It Fires." Yep, found it. I'll link it in chat
Thick
for
enough.
everybody. Here's when we actually fired the link that I'm about to post in chat is when we actually fired the Hershey Kiss out of it. We won't be able to watch it. Justin might be able to pull it up, but I don't know if he'll be able to show it. But there it is in chat. It is the link.
It'd be good
for
if we
the
could
clip.
watch it.
No, you guys can. You don't have to leave text or watch it. You can click it. It'll auto open another browser. Not a browser, but another tab.
Another tab.
Yes, and it'll play. You can mute it and watch it as you want.
Ed, what kind of tool is that clipper thing? The guillotine asked.
It is, again, from Micromark. It's just a cutter. I don't know. It doesn't have a name on it. But what it is it's degreed with all of the angles here, of your degrees. It allows you to cut by just placing it in 45, 90, 60, 40, whatever you're trying to get to. And it just makes it, and the nice thing is it doesn't dull over time. Kind of a, so it's a real good.
And that's from the same place you got the
Micromark, yeah.
Micromark.
I need to go buy shares of their stock real quick. Let's see. Oh, what did I do with that piece? Did I lose it? I guess I did. No, there it is. No, that's not it.
Ah, it closed the stream for me in mobile, someone said. So on mobile, it will close your stream.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a little bit fair.
Mobile will definitely be affected.
All right.
But to be fair, your stream might close if you got a text message. So.
If
or
you
other
accepted
things,
it, yeah.
If you accepted it, correct.
Multi-angle hand mitter. Reaper's My Addiction says. You can also get it at Hobby Lobby. Nazrock said.
It's miter.
Oh, miter.
It's a miter.
Sorry. Did everything just repeat? Kelvaren Blight says. Cool tool. That's what it's called.
Yeah,
Cool
there we
tool.
go. That's really, it's true. There's a lot of those little things like that. You just get, and I buy some that I'll play with them and then realize, well, that was a waste of time. But it'll fit from there. Well, if I can get this going here, and we'll know here in just a few seconds.
Hey, Mark Goodwin. There's a lot of people I see in chat that are new names that I've never seen before. Welcome. We are Reaper Miniatures.
Now this, let's see if we can get it put together real quick. Now I'll show you the techniques I was using here real quick. So to get a 90 degree, you saw how I cut it, the two pieces at one time, so it's all there. I tried to test fit it, launched some piece, lost it, so I had to put another one in there. Kind of a thing. And I know what we're building is a box, but that's only the start of it. That's the base. So to get this to go straight, we take a pin.
Miter cutter shear. Shear cutter. Thanks, Celtic Bower.
Is that what it is on
On Amazon. You can get it off of Amazon too.
I don't think there's anything. You can get anything. You could probably find an indentured servant on Amazon.
What are we making today? We're making a mess.
We're making a mess. We did the trebuchet. It's drying. We're sort of there. And then I forgot about, this is something I wanted to show you all real quick. If I put it together and it works, it's one of the more fun, annoying things that you can play with and have around the house. Now, what I'm doing is to get this to be at 90 degrees, I'm actually holding this onto the glass. That way, this piece here and this piece here, they can't wobble. They can't do anything. And I've preloaded the pin on one side, and I stick it together like that.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, but now what I have is a nice flush bottom surface, and it's square. So it's, again, it's a building technique. Now I've got to add this one to this end.
And luckily, it's already kind of, you can just pinch
As
the
you
two
can see,
together.
it's all falling into place. Again, it's back to that ruler's optional. I got into this because I just never seemed to have a measuring device when I needed it, and you still got to figure it out because I was too lazy to go find one. So we can do that. And
What about the green mat?
Oh yeah.
I know. Well, that was later on. We found the green mat.
okay.
I didn't work with the green mat for a lot of years. Actually, what I used was a TV tray that I bought at a garage sale, and then I could keep all my junk on it, and then just cut right on it. I didn't even. But yeah, then someone pointed that out though, that there's this whole grid on the mat. And I said, well, I guess that's the advantage of being a boomer. You don't really don't notice this stuff.
You
It's
don't
so obvious.
see things.
Yeah.
Do you have a hobby desk at home?
No, not
No?
anymore.
Not anymore, he says.
No, because I've got a work area up here. I had a work area up here. Right now, this is sort of the work area.
Yeah,
The only reason I had them for years, the only reason it got is the transporting stuff back and forth really got old. And so in turn, back when I was doing Kevin's job, I just finally said, look, I got to put it all in one location. And so I do have a hobby table and I do have a workbench, but it's not for miniatures directly. But it is a work table. That's when we do car stuff, I guess, would be a nice. And this has got to be sort of robust. And I know everybody's wondering why we're building a box.
Yeah, I was about to ask, what are we doing?
Yeah. And if this goes, and it will, so we're close enough, I can get to go. What we're going to build here real quick is an actual catapult that we're going to fire and shoot stuff with it. And I didn't get a chance to clear it beforehand, but John's already volunteered to be the target.
Oh, yeah. Just now.
Just now. Well, actually, you did it earlier. You signed the form. It was when we drugged you.
Mark Goodwin asked, where in the UK can I find Reaper miniatures? So, Mark, if you go to our website, you can change the currency in the top left of the page to the British pound, and that'll take you to our UK warehouse. I don't know about stores over there that carry.
There are a lot of stores, but just email webmaster@reapermini.com.
Or is it? Or is it Kit?
No, webmaster.
Okay, webmaster.
It's webmaster, and
Webmaster.
and
at
he can really
reapermini.com.
give you a list of the stores because we do supply a lot of stores in the UK. Okay.
There's the email and chat.
So we have that, and now what we're going to need is an arm, and I need a basis.
You say you need
Okay.
a bassist?
No, basis. Never mind. You don't distract me.
So we're building a small little catapult.
Yeah.
Just kind of one for fun.
This is one to annoy people with. Yeah.
Got it.
This is I don't know where that's glued together. I don't know where it came from, but we're going to use it.
It was the big part of the handle,
Of the beam.
the arm.
Yeah.
The arm.
Since I don't have my green pad handy.
Up against the wall.
Okay.
I'm excited for all the future stuff. Maybe as we get closer to ReaperCon and stuff, we'll start doing some things for the ReaperCon game and things last year, like we did last year.
Yeah.
That was a really
yeah,
good
we
build.
had to build all that stuff and everything. That was a lot of fun.
It was a really good build. If anybody
This year's
played
theme
the
is
game.
pirates, so I'm assuming we're going to have a pirate ship battle and use the new ships that went in Kickstarter 5. We will have to get those.
Are you talking about the big ship?
Yeah.
And you said battles, so multiple ships.
A battle with multiple ships of some kind.
Some
Yes.
kind of boarding battle.
Yeah.
So you guys heard it here first.
That's on the plate now. You'll find out when you get there.
Where's my 2 boats?
Yeah. Okay.
Did Reaper paint formula get changed somewhat recently? Seems like the
No.
general opinion of quality seems higher than in the past.
It's always been the exact same formula, same suppliers and same everything.
Yeah. Maybe it's just where you're getting the information, Panache.
Yeah. I mean, if I go back all the way back to the very, very first batch, by the third batch, there were adjustments then. They were very minor, but there were adjustments in some of the colors that Ann did. But at that point forward, they've been the exact same material suppliers, because we do it all here. We actually make all the paint here. So it's been all of the exact same stuff ever since.
Yep. I actually have a tour tomorrow set up.
Okay.
So if you're ever in town, don't forget to email us.
Okay. Yeah, that'll get us close enough.
This is all I measured.
Okay, now what did I do with that rubber band? Oh, there it is. Couldn't have gotten one that was a little smaller.
Don't forget to do your hashtag freeze. I don't know what we're up to now, Justin.
We are up to 10.
10, so 2?
So 2, yes.
We're doing 2 surprise giveaways for this show. So get your hashtag freeze in now.
Yeah.
And sub up if you haven't.
Ed sounds so much better today than he did last week on Thursday's stream.
Yeah, that was a weird. To catch everybody up real quick, I had a laser, this kidney stone, finally finished, done, lasered out. And they put a stent back in, and this particular one just didn't set well. It was a little.
But now it's out, and he's much better.
Yes, yeah. As long as I can get up and irritate Justin in the morning, I'm happy.
The surprise is the giveaway is a chunk of balsa wood scrap from the trebuchet construction.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get one more in here. I almost feel like as I'm doing this, like I'm a balloon sculptor, twirler, whatever you want to call it.
No, a balloon sculptor or twirler. Perfect.
Yeah.
Whatever you call it.
Me and Dave talked about this during all of the Reaper Live episodes. They're called balloon twisters.
Balloon twister.
Oh.
Yeah, because they sit there and they keep doing all this stuff, and you're like going, yeah. I ask for a weenie dog, and that looks like, I don't know, it looks like something, a dragon squirted out. And then all of a sudden, pow, at the very end, they pull it all together.
Thanks, Salazar Whiff.
Perfect. Yes, and thank you, Celtic Boar. So we're now at 16.
16.
Yes.
4 more, and we're going to be doing 4 giveaways. So right now we're at 3.1.
You guys give enough, and he'll have to start giving away tools on his desk. And molds, and half of molds. And
Yeah.
You know what?
Just do whatever I grab.
One of these days, maybe we could, when you have a completely, utterly botched mold, like we're talking just complete and utter trash, we just cut it up and give away chunks of a mold.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look, I got the stud.
But that would open up an investigation as to why it ended up being totally botched and trashed.
Yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't know why, because it was cut up into 100,000 pieces. You're going to get little chunks of rubber.
Not just a chunk of balsa wood. I signed a chunk of balsa wood.
Oh, was that it?
Personally chunked by the hands of Pugh. John's computer. What?
All right. Now, this is the important part. So, what we've got here, while it doesn't look like much for being a balsa twister, I guess.
Did you see Valendar's comment?
Half of Lord Sir Forskill shield. Yeah.
So, what we did is I have to have a base box, a base to build this on. So that's this part, okay? Then we have to have, I guess it's just what slams and stops the beam, and then there's the beam. Now, while that looks good and it's having fun, the trick is that we have to, there's a certain point at which this has to stop. And if you don't get it right, then you either throw it into the ground, which is what would happen to this, or you lob it straight up in the air.
Yeah.
So anyway, to build that part, that's effectively...
So we're just doing a little mini construction here.
And that's probably too much. I'd cut that in half. So we'd use a board like this.
I mean, for a company that gives out rocks, I wouldn't put it past you to send chunks of wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And see, that wasn't enough. So it was less than this and more than that.
So I gave you a rubber band with expectation I'd get it back. It looks like I don't think I'm going to.
You get it back. Why? Is there a rubber band shortage around here? Not that I'm aware of.
Hey, that was my personal rubber band. That's my favorite one.
Okay, that's still
Okay,
too much.
weirdo.
Which one? Yeah,
Yeah, you are making it a little creepy there. Okay, now what do I do
I
with
made
my
it
knife?
creepy.
There it is. I can't just find the width I need.
Thanks, Deborah.
Yes, thank you, Deborah. Puts us at 17.
17. And we're only doing this because the trebuchet is still drying?
Yes.
Okay.
And be done just real quick. And it'd be something stupid. And I love doing stupid stuff.
That's why we're on episode 50 of this trebuchet.
Almost. Man, I cannot believe I can't combo it out.
Don't worry, guys. My goal for the future is to have this desk all nice and clean.
Okay, we'll go with that.
What are you planning on firing with this?
I don't know. We'll find something here.
Oh, okay. Sir Forescale?
We can do that. Okay. Now we just have to figure out a way to get him onto it. Maybe I can just balance him onto it. We'll see.
He'll just stand. Make him stand. Yeah.
Can we see it? Yes. There you go.
It actually shot.
Yeah. So there you go. There's your annoying thing to build. It takes that long to build one, but you can do a better job. If you put some more twists on the rubber band, it'll really launch. But
Thanks,
you can put
DM
eyes
Sky.
out with it. So anyway,
DM Sky gifted 2.
Yep, we're at 19.
19.
there we go. All right, so we're going to recap here real quick what we've got for the last construction. Oh yeah, for this last part of construction, since that's dried. Let me find this thing.
Speaking of giveaways, if you guys have ever gotten a giveaway before, I know a lot of people post pictures of them on the Discord and on the Facebook page and the Twitter. If you guys want to do that, go ahead and tag us and send us the pictures of stuff that you've gotten in giveaways. We always like seeing them, so thank you guys. It also helps kind of spread awareness for the Twitch shows, so that's always a plus. Whoa, who was
Okay.
that?
This is what we're looking at
Reaper's
here.
My
is
Addiction.
Thank you.
the ladder is what we have to add on, or for the ability. I've seen it done in different ways, but we need a piece here on the side, and there it is. That's that loom. If you can find a grid, it's better. This is part of a loom. This will help me, because I'll just separate these. This will tell me where I want to put. No, I don't want to. I'd have to clean up the table to put the grid down. We don't have that kind of time. Let's see here.
You know what's crazy is that table starts clean most days before this show.
Yeah.
Oh, golly.
You're never going to live it down, so.
I know.
Yeah.
So what I'm
part
going
of
to
the
do
show
here
now.
in this particular case is just simply
Thanks, Balrog.
adjust these. Let me go. Where's Sir Forskull? There he is. What would he climb? That would be too much, so I need every other one. You could grid this off, and that would take a while, or you could find something. Let's do one from here.
Those are really in there.
Yeah.
And
This
this
is
is
what we
just,
used as the tool to make, for those that didn't see it, we had to, our payload basket is this part right here. And it's to weave it all together, to get it to work and do what we had to do. That's an earlier episode. This is the tool that we did all of the tying and stuff on. It's a rat line tool is what it is for sailing ship models.
It's also just a normal loom. I wonder
A
if
loom,
normal
yeah.
people just use it for, or not normal people, but non-hobby, like non-miniatures.
That's, yeah, well, I mean, I'm using it in ways it was never designed to. But I need to get something. I need steps that are going to be something that he could climb. And the job here at hand is that somebody has to, with this beam hanging off like this, like so, okay? Once it starts in this part here, it ends its flight in the upward position. So somebody has to come up this ladder to get to this part here to hook on to the winch line so that they can start winching it down. That is effectively what happens, or why you have that on the side. And I'm just going to show you how I'm going to do it. We're not going to actually have to sit here and do the whole thing, although we can. Now, what I'll do here is we don't want barcode.
Just scrape it off or cut it off.
And I will go in and make pieces that are about that length there. Now, after it's done,
Whoa.
that'll work. All right. So after it's done, we'll come back with a pair of scissors or something and actually straighten them up. So you don't actually have to sit here and measure each one.
Mm-hmm. A medieval SKU.
Yeah.
They went to their local Home Depot and bought a trebuchet.
Yeah, really, and then get it through the get it through the checkout line. Go to self-checkout with it.
They got it delivered.
All right. So that'll be enough to get started. But what you'll do here is set up, or what I will do, is, I don't see one. We'll use that. We have to have some sort of a stick. There we go. So I'll place it on, and I'll just put the glue right exactly where I want. And then we'll get that set. And then I'm using this loom as a guide to where they'll be, and any kind of guide would work for placement. And it's important, though, to have them in some form of a thing, because doing it by just sheer eye, as careful as you are, I was never able to actually get it look, and it not look like it was made by two drunks. And that gets... So.
And we measured this, the thing that you're putting the ladder onto, the steps onto.
Yeah.
It's the right height.
Well, it's close enough.
Close enough. You can always just cut
we'll
it off.
Work it in, yeah. So you can mark this on paper. There's a bajillion different ways you could do this, but just so that you can see the theory.
Ooh, level 1 hype train. Choo choo. PogChamp. That's one of my favorite emotes. I'm going to put it in chat. For anybody that is kind of new to Twitch, PogChamp is a very famous emote. And there it is in chat. It's free for everybody, so everybody on Twitch has it. So.
And what does it mean?
PogChamp. People on Twitch say Pog. It's like a gamer thing when something good happens or something cool happens.
Oh, it has nothing to do with the actual game of Pog.
No. It's just like, it kind of originated from like play of the game or like POG, Pog, play of the game, or player of the game, you know, someone who was the best. But it's kind of derivative of that. So like it's something something cool happened.
Oh.
So when you hear people say like Poggers or PogChamp, Pog, those are all like things that are cool. For anybody that just got here, welcome to Boomer Talk. Dave always likes to say that I teach him and I keep him up to date with what's happening.
What's hip to say?
What's happening on the internet.
Well, that's easy. 50% of it's troll, and the other 50% of it's assholes.
You know what's going on right now is the whole broom thing that's happening. I was talking to Justin about this before the show, where people are making their broom stand up by themselves.
Oh.
So you go find a broom and you just kind of hold it up, and the bristles will hold it up.
They're like standing salt shakers on their end.
Pog is also frequently used in sarcasm, too.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, like people say poggers when it's not actually like you completely fall on your face. Oh. So Ed goes to cut something and cuts it in half and goes, people will go poggers.
Poggers, yeah.
Yeah, so.
It's kind of evolved.
They'll
it's
use
been around for a long time.
Sarcastically, and it's almost interchangeable with LOL, too.
Yeah.
It, like most internet lingo, is amorphous and, you know.
Yeah. So what we have here, and this is how it would work, is by using... damn.
You can scrape it off.
Yeah. Anyway, the trick here is to make sure, I'm not worried about these edges. I'll come back and do those. The trick here is to make sure the spacing is actually much more important than anything else. Because if you get this spacing in an irregular fashion, it just really looks odd. Now, what this piece is going to be, so that you know, is on this side, is it'll go up here, and it allows the person just to climb up the edge. Now, it's in the picture. I think I pulled that paperwork. No, it's over here.
Dave,
there we go.
I don't think that was used right, but that's fine.
Okay,
there we go.
Pogger.
there is a picture here inside of this old drawing that shows exactly what we're getting ready to construct, is that part there. So anyway, that's it, man. It's 5:15.
If you guys have
time.
if you guys are making any terrain, I know Rings Raccoon and a couple other people, they're getting stuff ready for ReaperCon. If you're ever on our Discord or on our Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff, don't forget to tag us and stuff. We'd like to see what you guys are working on. So all your terrain and stuff that you're making.
Also, to send ideas, stuff you all want to see. I think it'd be great. Then we can just go back through. We discussed earlier what we were talking about is backdrops for figures. We'll actually get into more tabletop terrain as time goes on and permits.
Yeah.
Things I do, like this right here, I built out of styrofoam. And it took about a day or so. But this is a good photo, and that's another thing that's a lot of fun. It's just a photo backdrop is for your for your piece. Anything like that, y'all come up with. If you'll send us ideas, we'll start sorting them through. This will be done next week. We'll have it painted. We'll show you. We'll go from there. And then I'll finish getting it onto a base and chaining it and do the other things. And we'll have it at ReaperCon.
Yeah.
It'll be there in the paint room with everything else. It won't be at entry, but it'll be there so people can see it.
It'll be fun.
So,
You can take pictures with your models next to it. Maybe it'll be on that
be
table
like a
or
big,
something.
like a photo op or something. Yeah, a photo sheet.
Maybe we'll shoot it every hour or something.
I don't think it's got that many shots left in it. The shots we did pretty much ripped it. It's balsa wood, so it pretty much ripped itself apart. So
But you guys can see it.
And see now the rattling inside the box is a lot less just by dropping that glue in there. So it'll all dry out and it goes. So
It looks heavy when you pick it up.
anyway, guys, that's what we've got.
I have our 4 winners.
Okay.
I just
And
drew
they
them.
are?
They are, and I'll go ahead and announce them in chat too. Demetrius Jimbo,
Uh-huh.
Dire Cupcake, sacharscorn,
Oh, I like direcupcake. That's a good name.
and Jacob Jansen.
Whoa!
Wow.
Look at that.
Man.
Wow, Jacob. Nice.
And
Poggers.
Reaper's my addition. That's what that'll be one of the first things we'll do is Miniature Monday encounters and get that done. And then we'll go off to different things.
Can we get Pogs in chat? Pogs.
I'll have to learn this in my brain. Pogs to me were the game that the kids
Yeah.
played.
Boing.
Which, well, no, it was those coins, right?
Yeah.
And you threw them in.
And then you...
Yeah.
And what I thought was hilarious is when I saw that at the trade show, I was like, okay, it's objects that have weight given to kids with the purpose of throwing. This doesn't end well. And it didn't. So,
Yeah. Thanks with the PogChamp. Wow, everybody's using their PogChamps. Thanks, guys. I love that emote.
And Ed,
Yes,
what
sir.
do they do if they won?
Oh, yeah.
oh, yeah. I have no clue.
We'll have a graph. We
you
need a
gotta go
graphic
to.
for
You
it.
gotta go. Jason makes you go to Justin. Makes you go to Reaper Live. So it's Reaper Live at reapermini.com.
There you go.
And in the subject line, you need to put your Twitch handle name as you type it. So if you use a 0 for an O, you have to do it that way because he cuts and pastes that into the document to be able to go. And we have to have your actual physical mailing address. U.S. Mail or UPS, we need it. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world. We've even shipped stuff into North Korea. So, yeah, you just let us have the address and we will get it there. That's a common question. I'm in England. I won. Will you actually ship it here? Yes, we will. So,
Also, I will say this. I'm going to start adding this to what we're talking about. Send your email as soon as you possibly can. You may not watch it till the weekend, and that's fine. Try to send it within the week of the next show. Like so,
Yeah.
if it's by next Tuesday, preferably before next Tuesday, please send the email.
yes.
And remember to tag us on a bunch of stuff. If you've ever won anything, if you're making terrain, anything.
Yeah, definitely send it in. It's all fun.
We'd love to
There's
see it.
There's a small chance that if you send it after that, it gets buried and your stuff won't arrive in quite a while.
Oh, the
So-
emails, yeah.
So without that, with
Let's
that,
just Sneak Lord 4 scale
Pyongyang.
Pyongyang. Actually, get Dave on Reaperland. Get Dave to tell you the North Korean story.
Okay.
So, but we actually did ship stuff in there.
Yeah, that's a story for the tour.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, yeah, part of Kid Dave's kidney stone.
Yep.
So anyway, guys, y'all have fun.
We'll see you tomorrow
Have
morning.
a good week. It's only Tuesday here. It's Wednesday elsewhere. So tomorrow morning,
Yep, 11 a.m.
and that is
Pro tips with Ann.
yes.
I don't know exactly what the contents of the pro tips is, but
It'll be there.
we'll be here at 11.
All right. Well, anyway, guys, y'all have fun. You want to catch us at Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Facepalm for the brother,
Discord.
Discord, all of them. Y'all have fun. We'll see you later.
we
got a raid?
We got a raid.
Where are we
lined up,
raiding?
man. We are going to raid Creature Caster
Ah,
Slowfuse.
Slowfuse. Okay. Yeah, Slowfuse is a good guy. Go spread the Reaper love. I know he's been working on some Marines and everything like that, so go hang out.
Also, since we have everyone here and we're waiting for this thing to queue up,
Okay.
John, do you want to tell them about our shout out?
Yeah,
Our command and everything?
SO. So Justin streams video games, and I, John Overton, stream ZBrush sculpting. So if you ever want to go see us and see when we're live, go give us a follow. There's the command in chat. So there you go.
And occasionally, John and I play video games together.
Together, yeah.
I do Call of Duty, and I don't share.
All right. On that note.
Okay, Boomer.
On that note, we're going to fade out and raid. Thanks, Ed.
Okay,
for that
Poggers.
Y'all take care. Have fun.